Greetings, wizards! Welcome to the Papercraft Wizard channel. My name is Kelly, and I'm so glad that you're here. In this video, we're going to be creating a waterfall page. This is something new I'm trying. I've created some pockets that I can keep each of my most commonly used page designs in, and I've drawn out part of the design and then wrote out my cut guide. I thought it might be helpful for our visual learners to see up front what we're going to be building. The overall size of the cardstock we're going to be using is 6 1/8 by 19 1/8. And we use 2 pieces of paper and then overlap it. Of course, if you have paper that large, you can just use 1 piece of paper. So first we have a 4 5/8 inch space here. This will hold a photo. And then we have 5 1/2-inch spaces that we will score. We have an overlap of where we overlap the 2 pieces of paper. Between this score line here and this score line here, we have 7 1/2 inches. 1/4 inch here, and then 4 1/2. This is where we're going to place our 2 magnets, and they're going to connect to one of the photo mats that we'll be adding onto our mechanism. Our first step is to take our 8 by 8 pocket page that we created in our previous video and adhere our 7 7/8 by 7 7/8 piece of decorative cardstock. I'm just going to dry fit that and make sure that it's adequate size. And now I'll add my adhesive and then we'll adhere this in place. And once we have that in place, I'll use my bone folder to make sure it's nice and secure. Now I'm going to go ahead and set that base page to the side. And I have our 2 pieces that we'll use to make our mechanism. Our first piece is 10 inches by 6 1/8 inch. And I have that scored at 4 1/2 and 4 3/4 inch from the bottom. And this piece will attach here to our top. Our top piece here measures 9 5/8 by 6 1/8. And we have our score marks here at 4 5/8, 5 1/8, 5 5/8, 6 1/8, 6 5/8, and 7 1/8. And this side here will adhere onto the bottom piece of our mechanism. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the 2 pieces together. Now that we have that adhered together, I'm going to go ahead and decorate the bottom of our mechanism. So I almost forgot the Tyvek. I have a piece of Tyvek here measuring 5 inches by 6 1/16 inch. And that should go right over all of our score lines. There's going to be a lot of bending at these score lines. And so I want to reinforce that with some Tyvek. Normally I use art glitter glue, but as you saw in the last video, I used some Tim Holtz Distressed Collage Medium and it worked out really well, so I'm going to go ahead and use it for this mechanism too. Now I'm just going to take a paper towel and wipe away some of the excess. Now that we have that tie back in place, I'm going to go ahead and use my scoreboard to make sure those score lines go through to the tie back. And now we'll go ahead and add our first decorative piece. This decorative piece is 7 inches by 6 1/8 inch. I'll add my adhesive and then we'll adhere that in place. I have another piece of decorative paper that is the continuation of the paper that we used here. And this piece of paper is an 1/8 inch by 6 inch strip. And I'm going to go ahead, add some adhesive, and then adhere that in place. And this piece is going to go right over our 1/4 inch. This piece is going to go right over our 1/4 inch space here. And I'll use my bone folder to make sure it's nice and secure. Okay, before we continue on, we need to add some magnets to this flap. This flap will flip up and magnetize to the front page of our waterfall. Kind of lining that up on my mat. I want to go about 1.5 inches in and about 1.5 inches from the side and about 1 inch from the bottom. So 1.5 inches from the side and about 1 inch from the bottom. Just going to use my bone folder to make sure that that's down there pretty good. I will remove the release paper. And I'll go ahead and adhere those magnets. I'm going to go ahead and adhere my first piece of the decorative paper. I ended up wanting a cute little strip at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that in place once I get the main piece here. I want to make sure I get just in the right spot, leaving enough room around our score line for the page to bend. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure that's nice and secure. Now I'll add some liquid adhesive to my little pink stripe strip and I'll add that to Now we have the paper on the inside, so I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder, bend that at those score lines. Now we're going to go ahead and bend at all of the score lines where we'll add our photo mats. And I'm going to go ahead and bend those both ways since it does help the mechanism move back and forth. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the photo mats. We have 5 photo mats, and these photo mats measure 4 5/8 by 6 1/8. Before I add the photo mats, I'm going to go ahead and use my camera stamp to indicate that a photo may go here on all but one of the photo mats. I'm going to go ahead and add one to the bottom piece here, as this will be exposed as well. And now I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive to each one of these spaces between score lines and then add a photo mat. Now that we have all of our photo mats in place, we can go ahead and add a magnet on top of each of our magnets that we've already placed on the bottom piece here. I'm going to transfer those magnets onto the double-sided tape. I just want to make sure that's lined up well, and then I'll press those in place, and there they are. So now we'll take our decorative paper for the top of this, and we'll go ahead and adhere that in place. This piece of decorative paper measures 4 3/8 by 6 inches. I like to use paper where the design kind of follows through. So I will need to put these back into order. So now that we have those all in the proper order, I'm going to go ahead and take my adhesive and adhere them into place. All right, and that magnet is right in place. And all of our pages will be able to open great. So let's add this decorative paper onto the front flap and the little strip here. This first piece measures 4 3/8 by 6. This piece measures 1/8 by 6. I am using a solid piece here, but I will be adding decoration to the cup. So I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive and adhere this in place. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and make sure that's nice and secure. And now I'll go ahead and add the adhesive to our little 1/8 inch strip and adhere that in place as well. This here is the strip that we will use to adhere our mechanism to our base piece. This piece measures 1 inch by 7 3/8 inches. It's scored at 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch on both sides. I have two little pieces of Tyvek that are 15/16 by 1 inch. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere those over our score lines on our strip. I'm just going to go ahead and use the art glitter glue for this. I'm just going to use a paper towel to wipe away some of that excess glue, and then I'll adhere the other piece in place. And then I'll go ahead and bend this at all of the score lines. I'm going to add this decorative piece to the front of our waterfall closure. I'm going to take some ink and add a little color to those edges. I just like to hide that white core of the paper. Once I have those edges all inked up, I'm going to add some liquid adhesive and adhere that down. And now we're going to add our strap that we'll use to adhere our mechanism to the base. So the first thing we're going to do is slide it around the edges here. And what we want to do is we want to have these two tabs here will adhere to the very bottom of our mechanism. I'm going to add some liquid adhesive just up to that first score line. I don't want to go past there. And I want to make sure there's plenty of glue and that we go to the edge. This is going to be doing a lot of the work holding this mechanism into place. So now I'm just going to try to line up the bottom, this mechanism page with our little tabs. And once I think I have it where I need it, I'm going to bring in my bone folder and try to make sure that is all nice and secure. And now the strap is here, and that is going to hold our entire mechanism onto our base. Okay, so our next step is to add liquid adhesive all over the back of this strip. We want to make sure that this glue does not seep out and affect our mechanism. So I'm not getting too close to the edge. Go ahead and center that into place. And I'm going to go ahead and sneak my bone folder under there to try to make sure that's nice and secure down there. This is our completed waterfall page. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and ring that bell for notifications. Thank you for watching. Happy crafting.